I've had the opportunity to fly all over the American Southwest, and this is by far my favorite place to visit. And in this video, we're going to show exactly why.
I think Santa Fe is just like this very unique pocket of the States. The cuisine, the art, the outdoors, just really unique cuisine. I think is probably one of my top favorites in the U.S. And Geronimo's is my favorite restaurant, and my favorite dish is the miso marinated sea bass.
The first time I flew the Bonanza to Santa Fe was over 20 years ago. I was a young plastic surgeon, and I was attending a plastic surgery conference hosted every year in Santa Fe. It was after this trip that I fell in love with this town. It's like stepping back in time to the old American Southwest. In fact, it is the oldest state capital in the United States and also the highest at an elevation of 7,200 feet. When I was 13, we moved from our home in Calgary, Alberta, to Alamos, Mexico in Sonora. During those 3 years, I developed an appreciation for Mexican cuisine. My favorite food being street tacos. It's a food that I believe is truly underestimated. One of the best restaurants in Mexico City, a Michelin star restaurant, only serves tacos. It's simple yet complex and relies on three main ingredients: a homemade tortilla, the meat, and then the salsa. Since that time, my love for Mexican cuisine has only intensified. I've flown the Bonanza all over the American Southwest, and Santa Fe remains by far the best of the best in the American Southwest. Santa Fe has it all. In this video, we're going to go over the top 5 reasons that make this by far the best destination in the Southwest. First of all, it's about the food. Santa Fe has one of the highest concentrations of outstanding Southwestern cuisine in the country, and we're going to talk about our 3 favorites. Second is the art scene, and we will visit one of America's best-known museums and best-known artists. Third, we'll visit some of the most historic indigenous sites in the American Southwest. 4, we're going to go over Old Town Santa Fe and where to stay. And finally, we're going to visit some of the Native American museums in the area. But first, I want to talk about flying to Santa Fe, and more specifically about density altitude. The airport is 10 miles south of town and lies at an elevation of about 6,400 feet.
Southwest 4936, left 18, taxi via Delta, Alpha, cross runway 33 and runway 28, remain this frequency. Delta Alpha, cross 3328, Southwest 4936. And aircraft inbound to Santa Fe, use caution. Vehicles right of the runway, south of Gulf. 3 vehicles and that's it.
Every year in this country, we lose pilots because of miscalculations of density altitude. Pilots should take a number of precautions, primarily planning ahead, calculate the density altitude, and check the aircraft's performance charts before flying. Fly at lower temperatures. Fly in the early morning or evening when temperatures are typically lower. Personally, I believe early morning is going to be the safest. Reduce your weight. Keep the aircraft's weight well below 90% of its maximum gross weight. Another way to do this is by reducing fuel. Don't fill the fuel tanks to the top and plan to make extra fuel stops to avoid density altitude complications. Consider flaps. Know if your aircraft climbs more efficiently with the first increment of flaps. Also, anticipate slower acceleration. Expect to accelerate more slowly down the runway. Also, be ready for longer landings. Landing rollouts will be longer due to faster ground speeds. Avoid excess drag. When executed a rejected landing, minimize or avoid excess drag. Also consider humidity. If humidity is high, add 10% to your computed takeoff distance and expect a reduced climb rate. Lean for high altitude. At high altitude airports, lean for taxi, takeoff, descent, and landing. Santa Fe has an abundance of amazing restaurants specializing in Southwestern cuisine, and I want to share our 3 favorite restaurants. But first, I want to talk a little bit about mole and why the restaurant Sazon is so special. Mole is considered so amazing because of its complex and deeply layered flavor profile, achieved by combining a wide range of ingredients like various chili peppers, spices, cinnamon, cloves, nuts, seeds, chocolate, sometimes fruits, creating a rich, savory, sweet, and slightly spicy taste that is unique to Mexican cuisine. The intricate preparation process, often involving hours or even a day or more of slow cooking, further enhances its depth and deliciousness. Originally from Mexico City, Chef Fernando Olea won Best Chef of the Southwest in 2022 James Beard Awards. Chef Olea creates sophisticated flavors using old Mexico's indigenous and culinary traditions alongside ingredients from around the world. Nothing evokes the mystery of Mexican cuisine more than mole. The origin of Mexican mole is mysterious. Some say it was an Aztec delicacy served to the Spanish conquistadors. Others say 16th century Hispanic nuns created it. We're not sure of the origin, nor can the original recipe be defined. In Old Mexico, each cook has their unique mole recipe, often handed down generation by generation. Many mole recipes contain more than 30 ingredients, and some recipes have 5 varieties of chili alone. Chef Olea is delighted to share 5 different moles, one including his new Mexican mole, that it was created to commemorate Santa Fe's 400-year anniversary in 2009. Second on the list of our favorite restaurant is Geronimo's. Housed in an old, warm, and inviting, elegant Borrego house built by Geronimo Lopez in 1756. It has thick adobe walls, kiva fireplaces, and wood beams. Geronimo's is the recipient of the AAA 4-Diamond and Mobile Forbes 4-Star Awards, voted Open Table Top 100 Restaurants in the country, and by TripAdvisor the top 10 restaurants in the United States. Executive Chef Shailene Cruz creates the global electric menu that changes seasonally. However, there's one reason we keep coming back to Santa Fe, and more specifically Geronimo's, and that's because of a singular dish. It's been on the menu since we've traveled to Santa Fe, and it has become Amy's absolute favorite dish of any restaurant in any country. And the dish is the green miso sea bass.
It's like if you love umami, it has all the umamis. So you've got, the miso, the mushrooms, it has ramen noodles in it, and anything in my book that's fish and broth is chef's kiss.
The other very popular item on the menu is their rubbed elk tenderloin, which is absolutely stunning. As long as they continue to serve these two dishes, we will continue to fly to Santa Fe. And finally, one other absolute favorite place to dine is Café Pascual. Just off the square by a block, this little gem is housed in a very intimate setting with shared tables in the center of the restaurant and is an excellent place to grab lunch and or dinner. It features traditional southwestern Mexican food. Two of our absolute favorites are the Conchita Pibil tacos and the mole enchiladas. They do take reservations for dinner. Moving on, an absolute must is to visit the Georgia O'Keefe Museum. Again, just a block or two off the main square. They do take reservations online, and this is highly recommended because of the popularity of this museum. O'Keefe was called the mother of American modernism. She gained international recognition for her meticulous paintings of natural forms, particularly flowers and desert-inspired landscapes, which were often drawn from and related to places and environments in which she lived. After her husband Stieglitz's death in 1946, she lived in New Mexico for the next 40 years at her home and studio at Ghost Ranch, and in the last years of her life in Santa Fe. In 2014, O'Keefe's 1932 painting, Jimson Weed, White Flower No. 1 sold for a record $44,405,000. At the time, by far the largest price paid for any painting by a female artist. Her works are in the collections of several museums, and following her death, the Georgia O'Keefe Museum was established in Santa Fe. Next on our list of must-dos is a trip to Pecos National Monument. Pecos National Historic Park's main ruins are located about 17 miles east of Santa Fe and just south of Pecos Pueblo. The main unit of the park preserves the ruins of Pecos Pueblo, known historically as the Chicuye, the village of 500 warriors. The first Pecos Pueblo was one of the dozen rock and mud villages built in the valley around AD 1100. And within 350 years, Pecos Village had grown to house more than 2,000 people in its 5-storied complex. The main unit of the park also protects the remains of Mission Nuestra Señora de los Ángeles de Porciuncula de los Pecos, a Spanish mission near the pueblo built in the early 17th century. There's a 2-kilometer self-guided trail that begins nearby the visitor center and winds through the entire ruins of Pecos Pueblo and the Mission Church. Pecos was visited by expeditionaries with Francisco Vázquez de Coronado in 1540. The Spanish Mission Church was built in 1619. A traditional kiva was built in front of the church during the Pueblo Revolt in 1680 as a rejection of the Christian religion brought by Spanish colonists. However, when the Spanish returned in 1692, the Pecos community stayed on friendly terms with them, and a new, smaller church was built in 1717. Portions of the historic Santa Fe Trail run through the units of the park. This rutted wagon trail was one of the major routes by which the American Southwest grew in the 19th century. Another interesting historic fact is the Glorieta Pass battlefield. The Battle of Glorieta Pass was fought March 26th to the 29th in 1862 in the mountain pass just west of Pecos Pueblo, along the route of the old Santa Fe Trail. Confederate forces were en route to take Union-controlled Fort Union and were fought to a standoff by militia raised in the New Mexico and Colorado territories. Sit back on one of the square's benches, to people watch and take in the small town feel. Then set out to explore the countless art galleries, shops, and flea markets in the area. Our favorite places to shop in and around the square are at some of the local art galleries. We have purchased a number of pieces that decorate our home in Oregon, including paintings, sculptures, and even furniture. Our dining room chairs were made by a local indigenous artisan from Santa Fe, each piece custom made. Jewelry is also a major consideration on one's shopping list. The local indigenous people have a market along the square most days. There are also higher-end jewelry stores which carry exceptional pieces of southwestern jewelry. You also have to check out Lucchese handmade boots and pick up a pair. They make some of the very best Western boots in the country. Finally, don't miss the opportunity to browse the best Santa Fe museums, including the New Mexico Museum of Art and the New Mexico History Museum. You may also want to visit Museum Hill, home to 4 more incredible Santa Fe museums. And by far one of our favorite things to do in Santa Fe is to browse the incredible art galleries and studios on Canyon Road. There are more than 80 art galleries, boutiques, and cafes in this 1/2-mile stretch of road. There are plenty of great local markets to shop at in Santa Fe also, including the Santa Fe Farmers Market on Fridays. When you've satisfied your taste buds at the best restaurants in Santa Fe, it's time to treat the rest of your body to something special. Santa Fe is well known for its wellness, with amazing places like Ojo Caliente Mineral Hot Springs and our favorite 10,000 Waves, which is nearby. It's worth adding a little rest day and stay to your itinerary. As you can see, plenty of adventure and great food is waiting for you in Santa Fe. A weekend stay is typically not enough. 4 to 5 days minimum are needed to see all the best it has to offer. I'm confident you'll return many times to this enchanted land. Thank you for watching, and I hope you subscribe. We have many more videos coming out on Route 66.